it's Ilana and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to upload some content that would be a little bit different than what I normally post. In case you ever want to make a YouTube channel or you've always felt inspired to make one but you don't really know what to be mindful of, I think this video will really help you become more aware of what you need to know when it comes to making a YouTube channel, because these were some things that I wasn't personally aware of when I first started. So if you're curious to learn more, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So the first thing that I wish I knew is how to make myself stand out and why it's really important that you focus on a specific niche when you have a YouTube channel. So when I first started out, I was uploading beauty videos, and the reason I did beauty was because I was watching so many beauty gurus out on YouTube that I felt inspired to make beauty videos, but then I realized how saturated the beauty community is. So I wanted to focus more on like cruelty-free beauty, but that's also still very saturated because there are plenty of cruelty-free beauty YouTubers out there. What made me different? What made me so unique? Why would somebody want to come to my channel and subscribe to my cruelty-free beauty content? I just didn't really know how to make myself stand out by doing that. It's really important when you start a niche, you want to look at the bigger picture and figure out what's not being talked about on YouTube. What are some niches that people are into but don't have a representation out on the YouTube community? When I was making my cruelty-free beauty videos, I realized I absolutely had no direction. So I would talk about beauty, but then I would upload videos on like hair extensions, and then I'd do Stitch Fix unboxings, and it just became a mess. I literally could not stay focused on beauty when I wanted to focus on beauty, fashion, and lifestyle, and it's just too broad. So that is why it's really important that you establish a niche. Most of 2019, I changed my niche to talk about being more of a single girl navigating the dating world, and then sometimes I would upload videos about San Francisco. While there is a huge community of single women out there, because that's what my original target audience was single women navigating the dating world just like me, those videos weren't doing very well. It's not to say that people didn't hate watching those videos, but I wasn't seeing the kind of growth that I wanted to. And that is when something clicked. When I went back to my channel analytics, I noticed that my videos on San Francisco were getting more engagement compared to my single girl videos. So I decided to take this into consideration and decided, you know what? It may not be such a bad thing if I focus on maybe just being a single millennial navigating life in San Francisco. That is much more specific, and there isn't a kind of representation out there in the YouTube community. And speaking of my niche being about San Francisco now, while we're on the topic, I want to let you know for next week's video, I am doing a San Francisco Q&A. So if you have any questions for me on what it's like to live in San Francisco or how I'm personally living in San Francisco, do you want to know tea about my San Francisco life? Ask those questions down below, just because I still don't have access to the YouTube community tab since I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet. So make sure you subscribe to my channel down below, because that is the kind of content that I post on this channel, and I would love to be able to have the community tab feature because I really want to be able to interact with my subscribers, so I have questions on what kind of content they want to see. So please help me out. I'd love to get 1,000 by the end of the year. So again, just subscribe, and I can't wait to have that community feature. Back to what I was saying. And that's one of the main reasons as to why I've changed my niche so many times, and thank you for bearing with me on changing my niche so many times. It's just really important to just get it right and to find what's going to work for you. And I have seen more growth since I've done that. The growth has still been slow, but I am growing a lot faster in 2020 than I was compared to 2019, and that's gonna lead me into the next thing that I'm about to talk about. So if there's one thing that I wasn't mindful of, is that YouTube is all about trial and error. You are going to put out so much content out there, you're going to see what's going to work and you're gonna see what's not going to work. I've had so many videos where I thought this would be a great idea to talk about, only to see the video completely flop because no one gave a shit about it. But then I've seen videos that do really well and that get a lot of engagement and that people find value in. And that was something that I kind of wasn't mindful of when I first started. A big thing with this is that I learned how to read my analytics page. So if you don't have a channel, one thing you need to know is that every single content creator on YouTube has access to their analytics. So you can see how many subscribers you've gained within the past 28 days, 7 days, year, whatever. You can see how many people are watching your videos. You can see how long they're watching your videos for. You can see what are people searching for, like what are the search terms that are people typing in when they stumble upon that video. It gives you such great information, and I didn't take advantage of my analytics for maybe about the first month and a half that I had my channel, which was such a really big mistake on my part. So learning how to read my analytics, understand what it means, that really helped me understand how to create better videos over time. And so one of the biggest pieces of analytics that I really took seriously was the click-through rate. And that is how many people are clicking on your video. And it's based off percentage and views. So it's based off the number of impressions and the people that click on your video to give you those views. Click-through rate is basically telling you how good are your titles and thumbnails. That is what that means, long story short. So I've been able to find out whether the thumbnails that I've created have sucked or the thumbnails that I've created are good. And just so you know, you can always go back and change thumbnails. I've gone back and changed so many old San Francisco thumbnails to more updated ones to kind of match the current aesthetic that I have. So some thumbnails do look all over the place, but for all of my San Francisco videos, I've tried to make them look more consistent. So when people come to my channel, they see that thumbnail and they're like, oh, that looks like Ilana Pinsky's aesthetic. I'm gonna click on it because I want to watch more of her content. You get the point? That was one thing that I kind of learned over time. A big thing that I really wish I knew before starting a YouTube channel was something that I didn't really incorporate into my channel until maybe a year later down the road, and that is B-roll. Oh my goodness. I really wish I knew what B-roll was and how it completely impacts your average view duration and your watch time on your videos. Because when you just make a video and you sit down in front of a camera and you do straight up talking, you don't show any visuals, you don't show any text, you aren't changing the picture after a couple of seconds or maybe a minute or two, people are gonna click off the video. They're gonna get bored and they're not gonna continue to watch anymore because people's attention spans are very, very short, especially here in America. If you've been an OG subscriber of mine, you will see how my videos have changed, whereas me just sitting in front of a camera, not having the picture change. But it took me about a year to get it right and to understand the concept of B-roll and to kind of be more of a shower as opposed to a teller. And that will really impact your watch time and your average view duration overall. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing because this is so important and something that I really just didn't understand within the first 2 or 3 months of making videos. I really wish I knew was how important having good lighting and audio is to have successful videos. You want to be uploading high quality content. Now, you don't necessarily need a professional camera to start out. What really matters is that your audio is good and that your lighting is good. So you could totally start videos on your iPhone. I first started my channel on my company's iPad, which I no longer have. Now I have a DSLR camera and I do plan on upgrading very, very soon because I actually hate this camera. Yes, it gets the job done, but my images don't always come out sharp and it doesn't have autofocus and I really need that autofocus, but that's besides the point. You don't need a nice fancy camera to make your videos. I've done a ton of videos using my phone. Like when I do vlogs, I am out and about using my phone camera and that works just fine. You can even get like a lavalier mic and attach it to your phone so you have better audio for your videos because iPhone cameras perform very well as long as the lighting is good. So I really recommend you invest in some sort of lighting. You can get a cheap ring light for $40 on Amazon, or even cheaper, aka free, you can use natural lighting in your home. I recommend you film on a cloudy day because all the light will be diffused and you won't get those terrible shadows that sunlight will give you. So that is something to really consider when you make videos, but the only downside is if you're gonna rely on natural light, that means you can only film during the day and not at night. So it is really important that your audio and that your lighting is good. Otherwise, people are going to click off no matter how valuable your content is. Oh man, so this was a huge mistake that I made when I first started and I caught on really quickly after maybe the first 5 videos that I uploaded. But if you're going to film on your phone or iPad camera, do not film your phone vertically like this. Hey guys, it's Ilana, welcome back to my channel. No, you don't want to be doing that. You want to be filming your phone horizontally like this and using the back camera and staring right at this camera so you're trying to maintain eye contact with your audience. Don't use your front camera because the quality isn't going to be as great. So again, just look at this camera right here when you film, and again, just make sure your lighting is good and you will be good to go. Don't film vertically, film horizontally, because I made that mistake when I was filming on an iPad, and you get that ugly black frame around it and it just looks completely unprofessional, and nobody's gonna really take your content seriously when your frame is like that. So just something to keep in mind. So this next thing is something huge that I'm gonna talk about. When I first started my YouTube channel, I never knew what the why was and why I was uploading content. What I'm about to tell you is really important. Your why is the purpose of why you upload videos on YouTube. Your why prevents you from burning out. Your why keeps you motivated. It sends out a secret message to your audience. It is so important to have a why because that is how you draw subscribers in. So if you want to know my why and the reason as to why I upload content, this is it. To inspire others to discover themselves so that they can unapologetically live their best, bold life. Your why does not have any mention of your niche. Your why is talking about your target audience and what you want your target audience to kind of gain from your videos after they watch them. I make videos to inspire others so that they can be their unapologetic self, because I'm a very unapologetic person. I always stay true to myself, and I want to teach that to my subscribers through all of my videos. Even when I just make videos about San Francisco, trust me, my why is still present in those videos. You may not realize it, but it is. That is something you need to know when you are making a YouTube channel. You need to have a purpose for the channel, and your subscribers are the ones who understand your why. Even though your why is a secret, they're like, oh, I see what she's trying to do here with her videos. I'm gonna subscribe. Make sense? Cool, let's move on. You know, if there's one thing that I never really knew about YouTube is how videos can pop off at any time, because the YouTube algorithm is so freaking unpredictable. I kid you not. So for an example, a video that I uploaded back in March where I talked about how you can move across the country on a budget, that video didn't do very well when I first uploaded it. But then a couple months passed and the algorithm started to push it out over time. Now it's not like super viral or anything, but it's getting close to reaching 2,000 views right now. A big thing is because people are moving across the country left and right now, and that's probably why that video is getting pushed out, because it is evergreen content, and evergreen content will do well over time because those kinds of videos are going to be relevant forever and ever and ever. I think that's one reason as to why that video got pushed out, but at the same time, that video got pushed out randomly and the algorithm decided, we're gonna keep showing this to people now, congratulations. The point that I'm trying to make is when you first upload a video, don't expect for it to have success overnight or within the first week. Sometimes it can take up to 1 to 3 months for a video to really take off and for the algorithm to recognize it and whether or not it wants to push it out to other viewers. That's something that I learned, but I was not aware about it at all when I first started, so I want to make you aware of it and for you to not feel discouraged when you upload a video that you may not see success right away, but you could see success 1 to 3 months down the road with that video. But another thing that you need to know is the reason as to why those videos will do well is because you have great SEO, you have a great title and thumbnail, there's good average view duration, and that there's strong watch time. These are the 4 things that help videos get pushed out by the algorithm. You're able to see all of those factors and how they're performing under your analytics. Again, checking your analytics is really important so you can understand your SEO, so you can understand whether your title and thumbnail is good, so you can understand how long people are watching for and the percentage of how long they're watching that video for. All really important things. If all 4 of those things check off, then that video will perform well over time. This one is something that I'm gonna tell you right now. I really wish I had started YouTube a lot earlier. I thought about starting a YouTube channel earlier in 2016, but I had a ton of fear and I felt like I was having imposter syndrome and I was afraid of what people were gonna think when I uploaded a channel. And I regret not starting earlier. It is never too late to start a YouTube channel. There is always something that you can bring to the table. I personally think it's easier to grow on YouTube than it is to grow on Instagram. And I just want to let you know that you need to let your fears not stop you from starting. Otherwise, you're never going to get started if you keep thinking about what other people are going to think. I learned to grow a thick skin immediately once I started uploading, and I was able to ignore negative and hateful comments that I got and just to not give it any kind of attention. And haters will forget about the comments that they post on your channel. They don't have time to go back and think about, oh, I left that hate comment. Why didn't they reply back to it? Why didn't they give me attention? And even if they do think of that, well, it's great because you take back the power when you don't give it any kind of attention. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I just remember how I was too afraid to start, and then I finally got over it and I finally started, and I didn't look back. It did take me a couple of weeks to start cross-promoting my videos on other social media, but I was able to finally just get over myself, upload my content, not care what people think, and just say, hey guys, I finally have a YouTube channel, check it out. I'm going to start promoting it every week on my platform in case your interest does change. So don't care about what people from high school are gonna think. If they're still making fun of you when you're in your mid to late 20s, then oh my goodness, they need to get a life and they're just never gonna be happy with themselves. Get started now, stop waiting and just do it. Okay, and then finally, I really wish how important having an upload schedule was. The first month of my channel, I was just kind of posting whenever I wanted, and I didn't understand what privating or scheduling your video meant instead of just uploading it immediately to the public. Now I use the schedule feature when I upload a video, and I always upload a video every Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, I sometimes upload on Fridays also at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time because that is just simply what works for me. And that is what I have stuck to. Stick with a time and a day where you feel like you are getting the most watch time, and your analytics will tell you when your viewers are most likely on YouTube. You can base your upload schedule on that, or you can do it based on what works for you personally. Listen to your analytics because those numbers don't lie. So it's really important that you remain consistent. Choose a day of the week and a time of that day to upload, and you can schedule it. So if you're not able to be at your computer by the time the video launches, you can automatically schedule it and it will unprivate the video as soon as you're ready for it to be out there on the internet. That is a really great feature to have in case you're worried about being inconsistent with the posting time. You can schedule it and it just will change your life. So those are basically the things that I wish I knew before starting a YouTube channel. I'm just curious to know, if you were to make a YouTube channel, what would it be about? And if you are considering making a YouTube channel and you felt like this video was very helpful and you're already excited to get started, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to leave me questions about living in San Francisco. All right, bye all.